Hi, I'm Sandy Genovese, and I know it's dark in here because I want you to check out these cool tea lights, the flameless candles that are in the tea light size that are so perfect for summer parties. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to turn the lights back on. Hi, I'm Sandy Genovese still, but now you can see me. And it's just so impactful to see them more in the dark. And it's daylight, it's just that we had all the lights off. So in the dark, outside in a summer party, these are so fun. You can hang them from trees. Even we're going to look at making them in a large size. You can create them in all different sizes. Imagine a centerpiece on an outside table where you have cubes in all different sizes with the flameless candles inside illuminating that centerpiece. Oh my gosh, I want to have a party just to do it. What you need to do is you need first to create the cubes, and all the different sizes are easy enough. My smallest size I did with die cuts. So I thought I would show you that first, but we're going to see how to make your own as well, and I'm going to give you a pattern as well. If you look at the smallest size, this is from Where Women Cook. It's a Sizzix die, and it's created so that it has already a hole in it. It's actually called a cake pop because it's meant, the hole in the lid is meant to hold the stick of a cake pop that sits inside, and then the window allows you to see into the cake pop. But I'm using it to make these little tea lights. I'm going to fold the short on the bottom, the short ends in first, and then I'm going to fold in the longer ends. The slits are meant to interlock, so when the two slits line up and interlock, it makes a nice snug fit. So once it's fully interlocked, if the candle you're putting inside is fairly heavy, you might want to put adhesive to hold the bottom. You're going to take your tea light. It has something to protect the battery, so I'm going to pull the protection off of the battery and then go ahead and press to turn it on. And because it's lit in here, it's not obvious, but it's nice. Drop it inside. I've taken cord and I've just tied it in a loop, and the knot is going to disappear inside. And then if I look, it's going to close like so, and it's going to hang like so. If you look closely, you can see I've decorated the window opening with vellum, which we're going to do on the one we'll make. And then I've used the Watermark ink pad and just a large pencil eraser to create a dotted pattern. We're going to look at all of the choices when we get ready to decorate it. But first, if you want to make this in a larger size, you just need a cube. So if you have any box, a lot of times jewelry boxes are created and they have one that has the lid attached. So if you have such a box, all you want to do is find the seam. I can see this one is right here. I'm going to take this apart right along. It's usually just one seam, and this allows me to open this up. And then I'm going to use this as a guide. I'm going to set it down on 11 by 17 paper, trace around it. Also, all my fold lines, I'm going to mark all those. Any place where there's a slit that I need to cut, I'll mark those, and it will give me a pattern to be able to create, in this case, a really nice large size cube if I leave it that big. Now if I want a smaller size, you can just reduce it in the copy or however many percent until the cube is a size that's workable for what you want. I think I'm going to try making them in lots of sizes. I will create a pattern for you to create a larger one where you can just use my pattern. And once you have that, what you want to do is you want to fold on all of the fold lines. So I've marked these with perforations. I'm folding everything in the same direction. So either all valley folds or all mountain folds, either one. I can see I missed one here, and I need a few along this edge here, and here, and here. So once you have folded on all of the fold lines, this side here is going to be, you can actually finger fold it just to get a sense of it if you want, so you can see. But the one that has the flap sticking up is where I'm going to make it be the one that's going to be the top. And if you're going to hang it, now if you want, I think it would look great to have a whole cluster of them, and then you don't need a hanger. But if you're going to hang it, you want it to hang from a hole, and the hole needs to be in the middle of this square shape. So I've taken a Post-it note and I've trimmed it so that it fits not the flap that closes in, but the actual box itself. So here, this fits this box shape. And then what I've done is I folded it in half and opened it up and folded it in half again. The intersection of those folds is going to tell me where the middle is. I used a push pin to create a tiny little hole, and when I lay this back down and mark with a pencil where that hole is, oh, it's barely, I barely can see it, but make it a little darker so you can see it. So there was the center. Now I want to create a hole. If you don't have a hole punch that will go that far in, you can use a screw punch or leave this folded and then go in from the top. And I'm going to go ahead and use, this is my Martha Stewart screw punch. I use this all the time. You'll see when I push why it's called a screw punch, because it goes in a screwing motion like this to cut out that nice little hole. And now I need to cut out the circle where it's going to be the front. So once again, if I say, all right, when I close this, if this is going to be the lid here, that means this is the front. So I have marked with a pencil where that front is. I've just put a little X. I'm going to create the window with this punch. It's a 1.5 inch circle punch. I've punched one out of paper, and I'm going to take this so that I can use it as a guide. And I'm going to set it down until it looks like it's right in the middle of this square from the box. Doesn't have to be exact, but close. And then I'm going to trace around it with my pencil. I'm doing this from the inside, so I won't have to worry about going back and erasing my pencil lines. You can see it's given me the circle shape. Now I know where I want to actually punch out that circle. So using the pencil as a guide, I'm going to punch. And now it's a question of adding the vellum that's going to cover this window. Now you can use plain vellum. This vellum has little white dots on it, which I just really love. It's just one more little detail. So I'm going to mark with a pencil. I need to trim this piece down so that it will fit inside this square opening. And it's not going to show. It's going to be on the inside. So I've just marked with a pencil where I need to trim. And I'll go back, cut out. Basically, it's the side, any of the sides of the box, but just inside. Make sure that I'm going to clear all my edges, and it looks like I am. So I'm going to put adhesive. I don't want adhesive to show through here, so I'm going to put adhesive on the box, not on the vellum. And then I'll go ahead and I'll place the vellum so that it just is a nice flat right over that window opening. It's also easiest to add the decoration while it's flat. Let's look at all of the choices. We're going to use a watermark ink pad, but look, you can see here I use just a white correction pen to create this stripe pattern. And if you look at this one, you can see that I used white, oh, I had it here on the table. I used the white correction tape to create the pattern, and then the pen to make a little line next to it. Here you can see I used the white pen to create dots. And here you can see that I used the watermark ink pad with just kind of a filigree stamp that I repeated many times in order to create that pattern. This is like the one that we're going to do, so I'm going to add the dots with, I've used the watermark ink pad. This one is so old, I hope it might be time for me to rejuice it, but I'm going to really try to get it super juiced. And then I'm going to create a dot pattern. And I don't like a ton of dots, but the fact that I can see where the folds are, it's really helpful to get an idea of, I don't want it to look like dice. I want it to look like a random polka dot pattern. So I'm going to go right over the fold line in some cases and just create a dot pattern. I don't need to worry about what will be the bottom of the box, but I do need decoration on the lid of the box. So I'm going to keep going with my dot pattern onto the lid of the box as well. When you're pleased with the dot pattern, then it's time to add adhesive. So I want to find my adhesive. The adhesive just goes on this one side tab, super simple. And then I'm going to close this over. Actually, I close the one with the tab because I have the adhesive on the top, and then place this one over the top, and when I press, it will engage the adhesive. If you're going to touch any place where you've added the ink, make sure it's dry. So I'm being careful to avoid it because it's probably not really quite dry yet. Then you want ribbon, or gosh, you can use ribbon. What color would look good with this? Oh, I'll just use, I think the purple might look the best of the choices I have here. Cord also looks good. Make your ribbon as long as how you want it to hang. If it's going to hang from a tree and you want it to hang really long, make a really long ribbon. If it's going to just hang from a short branch and you don't need a long holder, then you're going to make it a shorter ribbon to start with. But I've just created a loop, and I'm going to bring the ends around, tie the knot. Now, depending on how big of the punch that you've created, if it feels to you like this hole is not small enough, or if this knot is so little that it's going to pull right through, then right now just do another knot right on top of it. I can tell, since that's a fairly small hole, that it probably is not going to be a problem. So I'm going to take my ribbon, and I just need to, I think it would be easiest if I went ahead. Let me close up the bottom like so. Now I will take, and I'm going to poke this through, and then I'll reach through. Sometimes I will use the tweezers for this. If my ribbon is stiff enough, I can sometimes just with my fingers grab it. So you can see I'm going to pull this until the knot holds. And now you can see why it's important that the knot be larger than the hole. And now I noticed when I did this before that when I close this, this is going to show through partially my window opening. Let me show you what I mean. See how you can see a little bit of that? That bothers me. So I can see it's not very much. All I need to do is open this back up, and with my scissors, I'm going to just cut a little notch out. It's not going to be pretty, but it's not going to matter because you just want the hole that's the window to not be impeded. So now you just have a nice cool little window that's showing. So I'll open this back up. I'll drop my tea light inside and then close this up. This particular box has a couple of little notches on the end that engage and help to hold it shut. And then you just have just the coolest little thing. And like I said, if you're not going to hang them, then you don't even need to do the hole in the top. But you can set the mood for your next summer party with terrific tea lights. Remember, I love hearing your comments. Be sure to share us with your crafting and your scrapbooking friends. If you want to, you can even like us with a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.